just a greatest showman kind of day, and you gotta sing your heart out, you know? And I risk it all for this life we choose. Hand in my hand and we promise to never let go. We're walking a tightrope high in the sky. We can see the whole world down below. Woo! Never know, never know if I should fall. Well, it's all an adventure that comes with a breathtaking view. Walking a tightrope with you. Ooh, 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 ooh. With you. I wanted to get on here for just a quick second. I have had quite the day, actually. Oh my gosh, where do I begin? So today is October 16th, and I have been heavily in the process of trying to upload into Ingramspark and into Amazon KDP. That means I've been working on the ebook and working on the print book to actually upload it. So I got the ebook up onto Amazon, and I actually published it for pre-order, and then I typed in the publication date, so it will be going out to whoever purchased it for pre-order on February 2nd. So that is all complete, all ready, all good. Now, today I woke up and I was like, alright, today's the day that we're going to upload to Ingramspark. It'll be simple. We already have the whole manuscript formatted, done, ready. Just got to put it in there. Went into Ingramspark, started uploading the actual file, and realized that it's not being accepted by Ingramspark. And so I'm like, what do I do? It said that the fonts are not embedded properly into the document, into the PDF. So I went online, figured out how do I embed the fonts into my document. Figured out this certain way where you go into Word, you have to click on options, like the settings, and then you click embed fonts in the document, and then you export it, and then you do that. So I exported it, I did all of that, whatever people were saying to do online, and it still was not going up online on the Ingramspark, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So I've spent the whole day, it's nighttime right now, it's 7:28. I've spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out how do I get these fonts embedded, and so none of it was working. I kept working on trying to figure out how to do it. So what I did was I went through the whole document, changed all the fonts to one general font, and I was trying to see if that would actually be uploaded to Ingramspark, and it still wasn't. So now I'm having to go back again and redo all of the fonts that I had and try and figure out another way. It feels like coming up against this giant wall, and it's like you're trying to push a bunch of bricks and it's not going anywhere, and it's like really frustrating, and I'm like, I want to cry because I've worked so hard, and I'm like, it has to go on Ingramspark, it has to, and I'm just really frustrated, and trying to figure out how the heck I can make this work. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought it was going to be an easy breezy day, and I was going to be like, oh, it's done. We finally did it. It's all ready for pre-order and ready to go out when pre-order begins and ready for people. But now I've got a longer process, and I'm in the process of redoing everything. It's like when you're a child and someone has like a castle, or you build a castle, let's say. So you're building a castle, and then another kid comes over and he just pushes it all down, and you're like, I just spent hours and hours building that, and then someone's like, oh no, I don't care. So that's what it feels like. It feels like I just built 10,000 castles and they all got pushed down, and now I gotta rebuild another castle. But that's what this book is about. Enjoying the process, no completing anything. Okay. Let me just reorient myself, get it together, and keep going. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully I'll have good news the next time I talk to you. Bye. What a lovely day. What a lovely day. Hello everybody. So today I am going to a coffee shop and I have a couple of things to do. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's finished. I can't believe it's about to be out in the world. And it's so interesting because so many synchronicities are happening, and like I'm meeting people who are talking about the things that are inside of my book, and I'm meeting people who, like I did a reaction video to the butterfly effect, and just last night this woman came and she was friends with my teacher, my family constellations and Reiki teacher. I never met her, but we all got talking and it was a beautiful night, like just us, like it was 4 women there, and we were just having beautiful conversations and talking about the world and what's going on in the world. And then we got to talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about like how sometimes the transformation comes out of the darkest of places. And then I brought up that I made a reaction video to the butterfly effect, and I'll link it up above. And she goes, oh, I have a friend who actually did the noise for that specific video. And I was like, what? Oh my god. I was like, how perfect timing is that you're sitting right here, and I just made that video like 2 weeks ago. I was like, this is the butterfly effect right here. And like I get chills just thinking about it. Like it's so crazy. Like someone who actually was part of making that video was connected to a person that I was having a conversation in that moment about that video. And I was like, oh my god, it's all meant to happen. It's all happening in perfect timing. I also wanted to talk really quickly before I go into the coffee store. I want to talk a little bit about the other night. I filmed this little clip where I was telling you guys how frustrated I was because I couldn't get the PDF onto Ingramspark, and it was almost like I had to restart everything, and I actually did have to reformat everything because I didn't create a new file out of the actual original file. I was just editing on top of the original file, which if you're going to be doing this, have multiple copies in case you have to go back to the original file or if you mess up. But I didn't do that, so I had to like kind of redo the formatting and make sure everything was perfect. So it was really frustrating day, that whole day, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't upload to Ingramspark, and I kept trying to figure out the embedded, like it was saying the fonts are not embedded correctly, and so it will not like accept it. So it was saying that the fonts weren't embedded correctly, so it wouldn't accept it. And then finally, like I kept looking online and looking at solutions, and I found on YouTube these people who were showing that on Ingramspark's website it says specifically that it doesn't accept books that have been formatted in Word documents. And I was like, oh my god, I spent all this time, and that was the like simple solution, and I spent so much time trying to figure it out, and it felt like I was pushing a wall or like trying to carry this huge boulder up a mountain or a hill, and it wasn't even necessary. So it was a very simple fix once I finally was able to figure out how to fix it. So I talked to you guys before I went into the coffee shop, and so I went into the coffee shop. I stayed there for, I didn't count exactly how long. So I stayed there for, I didn't count exactly how long, but it was probably like maybe 3-4 hours. And in that time, I read the whole manuscript, okay, from start to finish. And I was checking for any last final edits because with Ingramspark you have to pay $25 for every time you revise the book after you submit it. And also Ingramspark is not free, so you have to pay $49 to actually submit and upload, and then $25 for revisions or re-uploads. So I found a couple of tiny little last finishing edits once I read from front to back, and then I re-uploaded onto Ingramspark. I already got an email back because basically I just went to the beach because I wanted to see the sunset, and while I was there I checked my email and the re-upload is already ready for me to look at it and confirm if it's good or not. And so I think tonight I'm gonna go ahead and upload that, and then I'll be able to order print copies so that I can see it in person, see if anything from the cover or the spine is not correct, or see if any of the formatting looks off when it's actually in printed form. So I gotta do that once I get home, but I wanted to talk to you guys because I was at the beach, okay? And it was like a last minute choice of like, oh, I feel like I really want to go to the beach right now and just watch the sunset. And I decided to go to this particular beach, and I'm so glad I went to that particular one because it was such a beautiful scene. Not necessarily just because of the sunset, but also because when I was there, these guys, they were like waterboarding. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's like surfing, except you like, or maybe it's called skimboarding, where you like slide across the water, and sometimes they do like flips up in the air when there's a good wave. Or it was such a beautiful moment just watching all of them having so much fun and being like little kids and riding the wave. And the awareness or the thought that I had when I was watching them was, that's kind of like what it's like with life. Like, you ride the wave for as long as you can, and you just, like, they were sitting waiting on the sidelines making sure it was a good wave to actually like take the momentum and like run and get in there and like do their flips and things. And it was like waiting for the right timing, exact right perfect timing, and then they knew like intuitively, this is a good time, I should go do it now. And I was like, oh, this is such a good moment of awareness, of thinking about these kinds of things. And I guess I kind of connected it to my book, and like the right timing, the right people, the right doors, the parallel parking, hold on. The right timing, the right people, the right doors. And then if you fall, when you get on the wave, if you fall, you take that as it is, and you wait on the sidelines to get onto a brand new wave, and you wait on the sidelines happily and joyfully knowing another wave is going to come. And yeah, I guess that was just kind of what I was thinking about. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But I'm home, and I just wanted to pop in really quickly. I'm gonna go inside and finish that edit, upload. Oh, another thing before I go. When I was reading it from front to back, from start to finish, I was like, at the very end, I got really watery-eyed because I was like, oh my god, this is such a good book. Like, I knew that there was a beauty to it on its own, and because I look at it like so individually, and you look at these tiny little pieces because you're the creator of it, and then finally when it's all finished and complete, you're looking back and you're actually reading the whole, it's like a masterpiece all put together, and you're reading all of those tiny little, it's like a puzzle, okay? And you see all these individual pieces, and you're putting them together wherever they belong, and then finally you look at the finished product of the whole puzzle all put together, and you're like, oh my god, I hand picked all of those tiny little pieces, every single last word that was on that page, and every single choice towards the margins, and every single choice towards what would go on the cover, and the logo, and the ideas that went into the logo, and all the life pieces and life moments that were inside of the book, and all of those puzzles that came before this actual full-on book puzzle could come to fruition and be shared with the world and with people. I'm gonna get emotional just thinking about it. It's like a big puzzle that finally clicked and finally came into place and was like, I'm ready to be out in the world now. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, this was such an easy thing to put together and like to write. Like, it just flowed so effortlessly. I was talking to this woman the other day, yesterday actually, and she's an artist, and we were talking about how she had a painting that took her 2 years to paint, and she also did the Camino de Santiago walk, which is like this super long walk that sometimes takes people more than a month to walk the whole thing, and they just commit to those days of walking and walking and walking, and people along the way will give you food and places to sleep, or you sleep wherever. And so we were talking about that, and she said that when she was 20, she made the choice that she was gonna do that walk. And she did that walk, and she said on that path, she decided, okay, my life is going to be on this path. Like, that was the path. That was the time that she chose a spiritual path. And even after that, she did other walks that were like month-long walks. And I brought up, your paintings are kind of like that. Like, it takes a journey of every single brush stroke and every single idea, and it's like this whole journey all on its own to bring this art form into a physical manifestation in a physical art form. And she was like, absolutely, these are like my babies. And I was like, I can totally relate. Like, that's how I feel about my book. And at times it was like, when is this going to finish? And then once it finally got to the ending and it was like, okay, it's almost finished, I was like, okay, I want to go back to the beginning and restart, because it was such a fun process. And I don't want it to be over. But it's never going to be over, because even after the book is finished, you're still bringing it out into the world and finding new ideas and reinventing. And but yeah, so fun, so fun. All right, I gotta go. Whenever I'm having an off day, not dreaming, this is the song, man. This is the song. This is my jam.
A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.